Okay, so welcome back to the second part of this video. If you remember, in the end of the first part, what we got is we've got this APL code here, which was just simply a container and a video item, video component. And when we played it, it just played the video. So what we're going to do now is we're going to integrate this with our Alexa code. So I've copied this. And I'll just go back and I'll go to our code and I'll show you what we need to do to get to our code. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to execute a couple of directives. So we're going to need to add a render document directive. So that's going to take our APL code that we've just created and send that, integrate that with the response. And we're going to send and execute a command with that response as well. Now I'm going to keep the JSON document, the JSON APL document separate. So I'm going to use this piece of code just to import it into our code. So here what I've done is created I've called it here video layout, but we'll use the simple template that I just used before. So let's just go to our code and we'll show you what we've done. Oh, just while we're here, all of these these other examples I've got, you can edit them, clone them, delete them, and so on. So here we are with our Lambda function. This is the simple template that we had before that I've just already copied and pasted here. And this is just the plain Lambda function you get when you just create a new document. I've got Alexa hosted here, of course. So there's our imports. Here's our load the APL document. And the only other change, well, I've made a change here to this hello statement. So what we're going to do is when this runs, it will run this first thing, that's the launch request that says, say hello to play a video. And then when you say hello, it just comes into this is the standard hello world handler, not changed that at all, except for adding my code down here. So the first thing we need to do is just check whether the device we've got can actually play the video. And that comes in this rather long, complicated handler input request envelope context system device supported interfaces. If that includes Alexa presentation, we can go ahead and do it. Otherwise, I've just got a message down here that says, sorry, your device can't show videos. So then what we do in our return, when we return our response, we get a request, remember, from Alexa, and we reply with a response. And what we do is I add these two directives. The first one is this render document directive with some token, doesn't really matter what that is. And we're going to use this command, load APL document, to load our template, which I've stored here. So this is, I put it in this APL layout simple template.json is there. And the data sources is what's going to contain our videos. Now what I've got here is I've actually included a few more videos here. So in fact, I think this most probably won't work because I might do, we'll try it, see what happens. It might find that from the data sources. I don't actually call track URL in the sources before. So I've deployed it already, as you can see the time's about right. So we'll just try it, and if not, I'll come back and edit this. So we'll test it. That's all we need to do to add it to our code. And we'll try Open John's Hello skill. This is the new add-on that's been added by
Say hello to play a video.
Alexa recently to the developer console. And let's kill the skill IO. Oh, right, it does fortunately pick up the skill, the right movie. Now, I'll just see whether it goes on to automatically to the next movie. It doesn't. Okay, we'll see what we can do about that in the next video. So that's basically what we have to do there. I've described how we have to modify the hello world intent and the code for that. Add the directives. Remember, you can have access to this document in the GitHub that I've got, and oh, I suppose we can try typing hello again. See whether it starts again from scratch or whether I've...
Hello.
No, I'm getting those silly things. Okay, it's timed out because I didn't put a request on there. So is that all we need? Okay, the next thing we can do is we want to do this data binding. I'll do that here as well. So if we return to our visual multimodal responses, what you don't really want to do is include the source within your JSON. And in fact, our code, I haven't already really done that, so I've already taken it out. But we'll see how we do that in our APL document. I'll just go back to the build. In fact, I'll pick up the next document anyway. But no, I'll do it this way. Visual, look at the simple template, edit. So what we've got here is, if you remember, we've got the source within our APL document. You can see that here. Here, we don't really want that there. We could really do with it outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the JSON code out, the source outside of the JSON code. And that's not really the one I want. This is more like it. We'll take this one here. So we'll take that. So that's only because it's got more videos in it, and we'll see it going from one video to the other. So when you move the source, what we're going to do is we're going to put the source in this data bit here. Oh, that looks good. It would be if it's all tidied up anyway. And now the way we data bind it is we're going to use the source here, and we're going to use this command here for the source. So we're going to use the payload. That just refers to the data document. And we're going to look up the track URL to pick that up. So instead of having this source here, we're going to have the track URL. Remember to add the comma that I mentioned before. So now when this plays, this is going to pick up this track URL. It knows the payload is in this data here. This data here is going to find this track URL. Let me do that. That's better. And it will pick up these and automatically go on from one track to the next. So I can save all this. But what we'll do is we'll go back to the code and just use the other code that I've used. Basically, the code I've got there anyway. So that will automatically now go on and play the next videos. So I'll just show you how we pick up the data source within our code. Then yes, I'll just pause it while it takes its time rebuilding. Right, so I've returned to the simple template in my code, and I've just changed the source line here to pick up the data-bound items in the track.url. And that in our code is now going to find that. I've added it to our data sources here. So here's our track URL. And this time I've got several movies that will play. If you remember, we downloaded our APL document here using this load APL document function at the top up here. We could do the same for the data sources, but it's just easier for this point. to explain how it's going on here. So this time now it should play our Big Buck Bunny video, 10-second version, and then you'll see that it will move on to the next video. So I've deployed it already. So that's the only real changes we've made to the code. We'll go back to the test. Get rid of the skill IO. Wish I could get rid of
Say
this
hello
testing
to play a video.
personalization as well. Hello. Here's our first video. It's a 10-second Big Buck Bunny video. We've still got this gap at the bottom where I intend to put some controls, and it automatically goes on to the next track. And if we add some controls, we could also skip to the next track or skip back. So that's what we'll do in the next video. So what we've done so far then is simply just go through this. We've added our rendered document and execute commands. We've added our import JSON and modified our hello world to check that our device has got a screen, and use those two directives to load the video JSON. And I didn't mention before, the execute command directive is the one that actually says play the video. So there we are. We'll stop there, and next time round, or if you remember, we added the data binding as well. The next time round we'll see how we can add some play and pause controls.